Hey guys, how's it going? It is me, Connor, or Vertex from Xpanse Gaming, and today I've got this little clip for you that I hope you will enjoy. It's a really good gameplay that I got just recently playing in the skirmish playlist, and I was just retrying out the Ius Lana because I've been seeing a lot of people using it recently, and I was like, you know what? That'd be a good hand cannon for me to look at, because I knew I had some good rolls, but I hadn't really experimented with them. I'd always kind of just thrown them in my vault and just kind of moved on with my last word or whatever. And so I was just honestly kind of playing in the skirmish playlist just to try and get a few wins and maybe get ready for some trials this weekend, and not really paying that much of attention to like who I was playing or what was going on, but I was concentrating, trying to warm up, if you will, for later this evening from when I'm making this. But we end up queuing against some, I don't want to say anything like bad about these guys, because they may have just been like not giving any attention to the game. They may have just been with really bad randoms, and oh, this guy here was AFK, or this guy left the game really early, and so they were kind of dealt a bad hand, and me and my random teammates that I happened to get seemed to actually work together pretty well. We all kind of stayed together relatively well, and were able to team shot a lot, which you'll see in this video, where if I'm not killing the guy by myself, I may have another guy working on him with me, or he may clean up the kill, or I may clean up his kill if they're dead. So like in that situation, you know, you could kind of say stealing the kill, but it's not in skirmish. It's not like Control where it's 6v6, every man kind of for himself. In skirmish, you're working as a team together for the objective of getting as many kills on the other team as possible. So even if two guys go down and your last guy can pick up the kill, or even mooch a kill off of somebody else, they get assist points usually, and you get kill points. So it's actually better. But yeah, as you can see, I'm kind of having my way with these guys. It begins to even out a little bit more towards the end as new people join, and it becomes a little bit more competitive. But we were kind of imposing our will on the other team. And so what I wanted to make this video on, this commentary on, as you watch this gameplay, is something that was brought to my attention earlier this week by somebody that really was very, very kind and messaged me this long, loving message of how they admired me as a player. No. Basically just your average shit talker that, you know, got mad about my playstyle and my how to improve your KD in 6v6, and basically just kind of accused me of camping the entire time. And I will be the first to admit that I was very stationary that entire time. I actually thought it myself when I was rewatching the gameplay. I was like, man, I really just kind of locked down this area of the map and don't really move from it. Even if I am kind of moving around in circles within that area, there's not a whole lot of movement. And so I wanted to kind of address that, and I wanted to kind of maybe take that in as a learning opportunity for anybody that's watching this video. Because the term camper in video games is very, very derogatory. It's you know, kind of one of the worst insults you can hurl at somebody. Oh, you're just camping, you know. And for people that just sit in corners and don't really, you know, engage in the fight at all, and just try and blindside people as they walk through doorways or whatever, yeah, that's bad, and that's dirty, and you know, I'll get just as mad about that as anybody else. But I wanted to take this opportunity to make a very clear distinction in video games, and that is, there is a very big difference between camping and maintaining control of the map. You know, map control, you'll hear about that in all sorts of competitive gaming. People always talk about, okay, I want to press the advantage. I want the advantage over this guy. And part of the way that you can get an advantage is by putting yourself in a better position, so when you do engage with somebody, you are automatically at an advantage to win that gunfight or whatever it may be. And so a lot of times I will personally be trying to, especially with the way my team works with Levi and Jake and Mungie and all these other guys, I will sometimes, especially in bigger game modes, try and play more of an anchor role and rotate around and just try and make sure that we are maintaining our spawns as good as possible. So this is made worse by the fact that in that previous video, it was Shores of Time, which is a very, very unbalanced map. Like, one spawn is so much better than the other spawns that if you are spawning at the bottom, the first thing you do is rush straight around the bad guys, the enemy team, try and run around them and take that spawn from them, and then set up and start trying to kill them. And so, I'm not really going to get into any, I mean, it's not really Bungie's fault. They designed the map. It's a cool map. I really like the map. But it's just, as far as quote-unquote competitive gameplay goes, it's not conductive to fair gameplay, because one side has a very clear advantage over the other. And I don't know how else to say this, but if you're not trying to take that advantage, you're a moron. And so I get, called it, another good example is Black Shield. You go inside in a game of skirmish. Well, people that sit inside traditionally have an advantage because everybody has to come to them through 3 choke points. Well, I've had games where we've gotten map control on the inside, sat in there, kind of waited, teased out, tried to get some snipes through the doorways, but we didn't run directly outside and to openings through those choke points to wide out open spaces where they're just going to fucking mow us down. And then got messages afterwards, "Yo, you're a camper, this is terrible." And I was like, well, you tried to do the exact same thing. You ran inside, we killed you. Every once in a while, you'd take it, but we'd run straight through and take it back from you with relatively no problem. That's not my fault, that's your fault. And so, you can't get mad at people for having zone control. And so, I just wanted to address that because it's something that I get every once in a while, and it's like, well, yeah, you're whining to me because maybe you lost, maybe it just upsets you, maybe you weren't good enough to handle it, whatever it may be, but it's one of the most, I really don't like illogical statements. And that is one of the most illogical things that you can say. Oh, you're a piece of shit because you were trying to push an advantage or hold an advantage that you got. And so, that's just kind of my 2 cents on the matter. And I kind of wanted to put this gameplay... Ooh, I almost just dropped my controller. I wanted to put this gameplay just to show that map control does not necessarily... mean that you're sitting in one place. I make sure when I'm playing in this game that I'm putting myself in situations that I want to be in gunfights where I feel like I can win. I'm not just running around willy-nilly, but I am moving, and so that's important, So then, the thing that I want to teach from this video is that you want to try and hold map control. You want to try and get control, push the advantage. So if you and your team can push onto a point that's advantageous, get onto it, maybe try and lock it down, try and hold it, or at least kill from it, move on to another one. So, for example, that's what we do when we're playing Widow's Court. We run to a point where we can kind of maneuver and get good snipes. We try and wipe the enemy team. If they push us, we rotate, or we just gun them down if we can, and then, but if we do rotate, we rotate to another good strong point, and the map has 4 where you can feel like an advantageous, you're in an advantageous position from 4 different places on the map, and that's just good map design. But I just wanted to get that out there and talk about that because obviously it's something that's kind of bothered me, and I don't really understand how that rationale works for people that, may just get mad or whatever. But yeah, so that's all I have to say about this. I hope you find my point valid, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.